of coverage.
Nick Shirley ran up in there like Zoolander, boy. The Quality Learning Center for kids who can't read good. I don't know if you guys have been following this story. There's a guy by the name of Nick Shirley who's gone absolutely nuclear. The clip I'm about to show you actually has 126 million views, which is absolutely insane. So this is basically about the Somalian Daycare centers that are being exposed for a lot of fraudulent activity. Let's get off into this.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building.
Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes.
Insane.
Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia, like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the U.S. tax.
I like shish kebabs.
And in this video, we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own.
So I'm not going to watch the entire video. You can watch it on his channel if you really want to get into it. I'm going to look at a lot of the reactions of people that are talking about this stuff and how wild some of these raids are. This is a clip of a raid.
Get the fuck out of here. You cannot come in here. We don't care. We don't know where it is. Get out. That's not your job. You don't know that. Get out.
That's right. Hey, let's go. That's my track.
I think what I've seen is people be more excited about it from a professional standpoint, because a lot of times that's the hardest barrier, is like,
you can do that. You can film here.
The statement is on the website. This address is
The sickening thing about this is that it seems like some portions of the government, I'm not going to say the entire government because that would be, stupid of me to say, portions of people in the government are leveraging children, which are the most vulnerable in the world, right? Children are the most vulnerable people in the world because they can't defend themselves. They can't stand up for themselves. They're not physically able or mentally able. But we're leveraging them to commit fraud, which is one of those things that to me is so vile and so terrible. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. I think that's vile, terrible, that you're trying to leverage children to make a bunch of money. The problem with this is when you do things for children, most people don't ask. Most people aren't like, well, where's that money going? What are you guys doing with these funds? It's kind of like a fail-safe. Like, right, you can always say, I'm helping the children, and nobody's going to bat an eye. But if you're funneling money through fraud, this is a thing that definitely needs to be investigated. And this isn't just happening in Minnesota or Minneapolis. There's places in Columbus, Ohio. I'm going to show you a clip. It's the second largest Somali community in the United States, and many more daycares are in learning centers found with no kids. They all have no kids in them.
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Have you ever
They're like, that's the hustle, though, right? They're like, bro, just open up a daycare center.
seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. I've just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
So right now we are in front of the Great Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus, Ohio, that are associated with the Somali community. As you know, Nick Shirley put out a bombshell report about all these fraudulent daycare facilities.
Quality Learning Center. Y'all thought I was playing with that. Quality Learning Center.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio, and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America. So this place here is the first place we're going to knock, and we're going to see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see.
Oh, this should be good. Nobody's going to answer that door, bro. They're in there learning. They're busy.
So
this looks like, I'm gonna be honest, this building looks like where you would house criminals. This doesn't look like where I would want my kids to be, you know?
knocking on the door. Nobody's picking up. So we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get out of here.
This building right here.
Oh,
So this isn't just happening. And so maybe this is the next big scam where people are funneling millions of dollars. And it really only gets worse. I was able to find so many clips.
What would you say to Nick Shirley, the YouTuber, if he was standing in front of you
I have
right
nothing
now?
against him himself, but I do have something against the rhetoric. It's if you're gonna be a journalist, just have a moral compass.
You made it before your business hours? Brother, man, it says Quality Leering Center.
Like, do what you do correctly. If you catch business that are fraud,
Okay, this is also the terrifying thing, you know, and I don't like to throw shade unless it's factual. This guy explains exactly why it's terrifying that anybody that's, you know, Somalian is able to get this amount of money, number one, but number two is teaching kids.
It's not even funny anymore because look, Somalia is about to assume presidency of the UN Security Council on January 1st, 2026. That's in like a week. And if anyone knows about the demographics in Somalia, they know that Somalia is not the ideal country you want running the UN. Now, First off, the UN is a complete joke. No one actually cares about it anymore. The United States should have left the UN right when it started. However, Somalia in particular has a civil war right now taking place where
they have since Black Hawk Down came out. Like, have y'all seen Black Hawk Down? Like, bro, that country has been war stricken and civil war stricken for the longest time. They don't need to be leading anything.
Literally not even a stable leadership within Somalia. So how it's supposed to lead the UN Security Council is really up to question here. But look, we are all seeing about the news about the Somali fraud in Minnesota. That is a concern, and that is really bad. However, if you look at Somalia, and if you look at the demographic in Somalia, it's not surprising to anyone. The average IQ in Somalia is a 65. To qualify for intellectual disability in the United States, you need an IQ of 70 or below, which means that the average IQ in Somalia qualifies you for intellectual disability in the United States. When we are importing third world immigrants who qualify for the average IQ in the United States, they're going to be off welfare and they're going to be living off welfare. That's why we need an immediate end to third world immigration, to end this ridiculous fraud, to end the overuse of welfare systems in states like Minnesota.
So people can say all day, it's a race thing. It ain't a race thing for me, bro, at all. It's an intellectual thing. It's like the fact that we're letting these people that are war stricken and also under the general IQ for what we would consider like mentally handicapped is crazy work. Here's a clip of him on a podcast, Nick Shirley.
I talked to one lady who said she watched another person's stomach get cut open that when she was pregnant, get cut open by the cartel because they couldn't give her the money to come over to the United States. And so then I also started getting super interested in like, how corrupt can a government be to where the point where they're incentivizing people to get trafficked across the United States, get raped, get kidnapped, have to pay extortion fees, have to leave their family, have to go through a jungle to come to the United States. And how can people morally say that that's a good thing to be incentivizing illegal immigration? And to see politicians be so corrupt and to misuse their words as a saying like, we're actually helping these people really made me dive deeper into politics and see why are they letting all this happen?
To this point, I'll pause it there. We're seeing the radicalization of a younger generation. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. We're seeing a lot of young men be radicalized because they've been called names and they've been put into a corner or stereotyped in a certain way that's so negative that they're sick of it. They're absolutely sick of it. And now these guys are speaking up. You got guys like Nick Fuentes, Nick Shirley, who are really, I would say Nick Fuentes is more like the figurehead for younger Gen Z guys.
And why is it only in these blue states where they're incentivizing these people to come to? Who's making money off this? Like, why would they want, for instance, right now in Minnesota, why would they want a large population of people from the third world to come here to the United States and then grow at unprecedented levels to the point where they're going to give them business licenses and then open up welfare for them to be able to start a daycare and get $2 million a year?
Well, in my opinion, it's all, and then chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. I think it's all the Democrats' plan to get a bunch of people dependent upon the government from third world countries because typically those people vote blue. And so if you get a massive influx of those people, they'll all vote Democrat, and then the Democrats can basically run it. It's almost like not a dictatorship, but like a socialist country where everyone's dependent upon welfare. Everybody depends on the government, and you keep people in a low class, poor society, and you really divide that disparity between people that are poor and people that are rich, and just eliminate the middle class.
From the government, and then you go to the daycare at 10 a.m. and there's no children, and there's just 3 BMWs outside. And so that's
see, that's weird. He went up there. Now I will say it's weird to want to go into a daycare. That is a little sus. at the surface of it is a little sus. But at the same time, if they had kids there, they'd be like, yeah, we have kids here. But I also believe in the privacy of, these daycare workers. If they didn't want to show these kids, I completely respect that. I think that's fine, right? You shouldn't be offering up to just show children. It's a little weird. But I saw a clip of this guy, and I was like, this kind of relates to what we're talking about.
So gay people are gay because they were born that way. But trans people aren't their sex, even though they were born that way. Got it. It's interesting that young white men are only 10% of the population, but 98% of the military deaths.
4 a.m.'s not that early, you told yourself. Then you found a cheap afternoon flight on Kayak. Time your takeoff. Board at a better hour. Search and compare holiday travel with Kayak.
So much for that privilege.
Yeah, so much for that privilege. So that's the clip I really wanted to play there. So much for that privilege. 10% of the population, 98% of the military deaths. Isn't that wild? And apparently Tim Walz had a lot to do with this.
Did you all see this tweet from Tim Walz? The comments did not disappoint. Where he says that Minnesota is the number 8 state for safety, the number 5 state to live in, the number 3 state for jobs, the number 2 state to raise a family, and the number 2 state to...
Yeah, I'll never... I want to watch this, but I'll never understand why people yell at a phone.
Retire. Then he says he won't quit fighting until we are number 1. Yeah, number 1 in leering? Tim Walz, Scott Pressler beat me to it. Then we have number 1 in Somali daycare fraud. Number 1 for tampons in men's bathrooms.
Tampons in men's bathrooms. You know what? I demand equality when it comes to tampons in the bathrooms for men.
And it just goes on and on. Then we get this gem by Jimmy Fallon, who says, "Can't believe you're still tweeting. Your crisis management has leered nothing." Then we got this other one, just tweet through it. They're hugging. We got this being libertarian showing address me with this giant elephant in the room.
Oh my God. Tim Walz is getting cooked like some Korean barbecue, maybe Somalian barbecue. No, this is wild. Absolutely wild. And people are going to try to turn this to a race play, but it's definitely not that, But federal agents now are deporting these people. They do not care. Nobody's safe. But in my opinion, dude, like they have borders in every other country. We even have borders for freaking states. Why are we going to protect our borders and protect the people that are actually here, that were born here? Every country has its own national identity. Like, why are we just going to give this up? I'll never understand. It's like when women give up womanhood to trans men or I don't even know anymore, trans women, I guess, when they're like, yeah, you can be a woman and you can be a woman. It's like, where's the pride in being a woman? Why can everybody be a woman now? This guy kind of explains what I'm talking about.
I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm getting real sick and tired of this little lady.
The idea that this is a white nation that needs to be preserved is a fascinatingly...
I've never heard that idea. I think America in the United States is based off diversity. I've never heard it's a white nation, but whatever.
Disgusting view, because this country is one for the many.
Let me tell you something, bitch. Nobody's saying America has to be one skin color, but every nation on earth has a culture worth protecting. Funny how preserving identity is beautiful everywhere else. Japan does it, Mexico does it, even Somalia does it. But when America does it, it's disgusting. This ain't about no race. You snuck into this country and now you're trying to erase standards in history. America is an idea. And ideas only survive when people are brave enough to stand up and defend it. If every nation deserves an identity, then why is America the exception? We're not just going to let you come up in here and switch up the rules to benefit only your people. So listen up, America. I need you to listen good. We need to vote these people out of power. Because you see what they're starting to do. They're starting to talk mess. They think they're going to take over something. Because when a country isn't allowed to remember who it is, that means someone else will decide for it.
Yeah, exactly right, dude. That guy said it very well. If you don't remember what your country is, other people will decide it for you. I saw this meme and was like, oh my God. It says, multi-billion-dollar Somali fraud operation, 23-year-old YouTuber. That's all it took, dude. I'm telling you guys, independent journalism is going to be the next big leap here, where people are going to start listening to young YouTubers and guys right now instead of, major news outlets.
Why is a 23-year-old YouTuber doing more real news than ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, WAPO, and News?
And this is why, dude, because people trust, like, put a 1 in the chat. Let's do a little poll here. I won't run the poll, but we'll just do it with 1s or 2s. Put a 1 in the chat if you would rather take news and political advice from YouTubers. Put a 2 in the chat if you'd rather take news and political advice from news outlets. Let's just see what you guys say in the comments.
New York Times combined. 60 Minutes when you need him, this Ted Cruz. What's he talking about? I'd love to show you.
Where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent?
Now, in case you've been living under a rock, you may or may not have seen that documentary by Nick Shirley and his crew, where they went into Minnesota and they found out that all of these daycare centers that were Somalian owned, that were getting millions of dollars in federal money, that's your tax dollars, millions of dollars in federal money to run these daycare centers were fucking empty. Not just
help people that are disabled, help the veterans. Like, let's stop helping these immigrants that are coming from other countries and not even doing anything with this business. Now, it'd be different if they were actually opening a business and doing something with it, but there's no children there.
Empty either. They were shell businesses. One of the daycares that he did spelled learning wrong on the sign and didn't have any windows, and there was no kid. But on the paperwork for the loans or the grants that they applied for, the federal government said they had 90 plus kids. Not a child in sight in the middle of a fucking weekday. So back to your question, Ted Cruz, why is he doing a better job than the news? My question is, why is he doing more work than fucking Congress? Because you want to see what Congress has been doing?
Nothing.
Why is he doing more work than you and your little investigative groups? Where's the Scooby-Doo gang? You know what? I told you in the beginning that I was going to try and be more intentional with my content, and I was going to try and be more educational, okay, and give you more solutions. Well, the only solution to this, the single solution to this right now, is to recognize that the Republican Party hates you just as much as the Democratic Party, if not more. At least with the Democratic Party, you knew who your enemies were. And with this, fuck this. These people are standing for you. None of these, this 24-year-old kid cares more about you and your money and your family and what's happening in your country than Ted fucking.
Wait, was it the Republicans that gave the money to the Leering centers? Who gave money to the Somali learning centers? Federal fraud investigation, alleged fraud, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, state commissioner responds, FBI searched, presses Waltz over a minute. It looked like it was Tim Waltz. So Tim Waltz is a Democrat. I'm not sure what she means by that, but, I always like to look.
Cruz and the likes of it. Have we not announced a hearing, Ted Cruz? You drug everybody else to hearings for erroneous shit. Oh, this lake of milk like you're doing something. Why are you not investigating? Why are we not in Minnesota right now with the National Guard hunting people down who are here illegally and getting them the fuck out of here? First and only solution to this problem is to recognize that this is not identity politics. The GOP party does not fucking care about you, and they never did. If I learned anything from the Trump administration personally, okay, it's that these people do not care about me. These people do not care about my family. These people do not care about our country. Let me say that one more time. These people do not care about the people in the United States of America. Can you hear me? This isn't even America first, America last. This is America nothing. This is America infiltrated.
I don't know where she's getting all the Republican stuff, and I'm not saying the government actually cares either. I never thought the government was like, yeah, they really got my back, man. Those guys in those political power positions, they really are looking out for little old me. I've never really thought that. Dude, this meme cracked me up. I don't know if you can see it. Leering, learning. Dude, some of the memes are so good, bro. My God. We got this one right
your
here.
Tax dollars so we can live a luxury USA.
That's crazy. These AI videos, bro. Good Lord, man. Fun fact, the average IQ in Somalia is 68, which is crazy work when you really think about it. Absolute crazy work. 68. Like, look at this, dude. IQ 50 to 70, mild mental retardation. IQ classifications in psychiatric use, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 4th edition, American Psychiatric Association. You're going to tell me we're going to give these people money? Bro, come on. You got to be better than that. You got to be better than that.
Hello, I'm Somali and I want money. U.S. government, please give me money. Well, we can't just give you money outright. You have to provide some sort of service to the economy. Okay, I'm going to start a daycare. Oh my goodness, that's great. I would love for you to teach and be around my children. Can I just poke around at first? No. Well, you have like a fully operating daycare. I just like to see what's inside. If I let you in, will you give me the money? Yes, of course. Oh, it's completely empty. The ABCs are out of order. That's not even English. That's like Spanish. Are you sure this is like an operating daycare? Please give us money. Well, I'd hate to be racist. Here's $1 million.
Yeah, bro, $1 million for all this crazy work. The amount of cash they're giving these people is the alarming part. Like, and this is a clip of Nick Shirley talking about kind of like the whole divide of, I'll just get into it.
Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to expose this, you're doing it because you're white supremacists. What is your response to him?
Yeah, Tim wants votes. There are entire apartment complexes where white people have been pushed out of these apartment complexes because Somalians have taken over and they're inside of these towns like Minneapolis where they can go get votes from these people. And if you have 100,000 people that will vote for you because you're going to enable and let this stuff happen and because you're going to call a white person racist for calling out facts, This is what's going to happen to a state like Minnesota. Minnesotans, they say Minnesota nice, but they are very upset. And I totally understand why they're upset because they don't have a governor who's actually working for them. He's actually working against them.
Governor Tim Walz is saying that you and others that are out there trying to...
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Shout out to Nick Shirley, man. Put a big target on his back by, doing this. But like, dude, some of the memes that they're coming up with is like crazy work. Tim Walz next to a Somalian woman just flashing cash. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, and fraud is fraud. It doesn't matter what race someone is, in my opinion. Chat, put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Fraud is fraud. Fraud, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Bro, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I knew about the Somali shit 20 years ago. I had my son 20 years ago. I went to go get Section 8. Drove down to the Section 8 office in Columbus, Ohio, and guess who the fuck I seen? All Somalis in the parking lot. They was there for 8 hours already. Had tents and shit, vans. They had fucking tents. They had their vans parked in the parking lot and made tents, nigga. It's first come, first serve when you go to get help from the government, when you need aid, when you need financial aid.
This guy's got like a blinged out watch, all this jewelry on, talking about Section 8, brother.
First come, first serve. You got to wait behind a fucking 100 Somalians, nigga, to get... I'm American, bitch. I got to wait behind 100 Somalians to even get help. Then
see, that I don't agree with, but also that young man looks like he could work. So I'm not too sure why he's getting these benefits anyways. He looks like he's able-bodied.
So a Somali American politician here in Maine, Abdullahi Ali, has placed a murder bounty on a journalist for reporting a fraud scandal for millions of dollars involving MaineCare. No wonder fucking MaineCare in taxes are so expensive here.
I heard Maine taxes are really, really high. Maine's also a nice state from what I've heard. I don't know the specifics. Here's another clip from Nick Shirley's
Now we're being
video.
followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center. Absolutely no signage. And there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past
5.9 million in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now.
From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Learning Center on the outside of their sign. That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said
They spelled learning wrong.
Don't open up.
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up.
Ma'am, what do you think about the
Of course, it's a white Karen.
fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up. We have ice.
And what do you think?
The ice on the ground.
Stupid. Think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up.
and getting $4 million over the
Open up. It's ice.
$4 million.
That's why we don't listen to these people anymore, these SJWs. They're just like professional virtue signaling weirdo victims.
In the last 2 years.
Go away.
What do you think about that? Are you in favor?
Away.
Are you in favor of that?
Go away.
You know
You're
what
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up.
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are. You don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up. It's ice.
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children right here at this building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding.
It doesn't matter how many facts, statistics, when you're talking to someone like this am I turtly enough for the turtle club looking ass Karen, that you can't speak any logic into this woman's mind. She is so emotionally wired that she probably has the same IQ as the cats she has at home.
You know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children? This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah. So who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back.
That's what happens, dude. That's what happens. Loki, that's crazy. We're going to start a doggy daycare center with you and all your buddies. I'm going to see if I can get a big loan or something. Maybe I can get a fat loan. Maybe I can get, a couple mil. Start this. Look how big this piece of chicken is, dude. He's going to go crazy for this. Loki, free. Sit. Shake. Wait. Free. Go to your place. That's going to take him a hot minute, bro. Yeah, dude. And the sad thing is, man, is that nobody's covering this. Not CBS, PBS, CNN, ABC, MSNBC. Like, nobody's covering this. It takes a 23-year-old YouTuber to come out there and actually cover this story and talk about this stuff. Like, it's wild work.
The most insulting thing about the whole Somalian scandal that's happening right now is that how disrespectful the Somalian community is, right? How blatantly arrogant they are, right? Ilham Omar and the governor, like we don't deserve to ask questions like this.
And I don't know about you guys. I don't interface with any Somalians. I've probably maybe met one or two in my life. Maybe I don't have any negative things to say about them, but this whole thing is not painting them in a positive light.
Oh, well, like this is our money, right? Like most average American that can live a paycheck to paycheck. Y'all stealing millions of dollars, fake daycares, fake healthcare businesses, right? Living in luxury of our taxpayer dollars. Y'all not even from America. A lot of y'all are illegal immigrants. Some of y'all are illegal immigrants, and y'all acting like we don't have the right to ask questions. When this guy Nick is going around, Shirley, I believe, he's going around, they're acting like they got an attitude because Americans are asking questions. Because they know they're in corruption. They know there's fraud. Yep. Waltz know that he's in fraud. They all know. They in on it, right? So that's what bothers me. I think that's what's bothering most Americans.
Yeah, 100%. And it's our taxpayer dollars. But like I said earlier, dude, the easiest way to funnel money through is to just say, we're doing it for the kids. We're doing it for the children. That's the easiest way to do it, bro. It's like you gotta commend them on doing probably the smartest type of fraud, right? Let's do it for the kids, something that most people probably won't verify. Nobody's going to question it. It's for children, like if something came out with Baylor, Scott and White, or the hospital, the Hopkins Children's Hospital, like nobody's probably going to look into that. It's for kids, So I mean, it's a smart angle to take, even though they're getting caught up really bad. But I don't think anything's going to happen.
Let's just say that there is a legit daycare operation over in Minnesota,
The rent that they're going to be paying is $2,000 to $3,000. Let's add on utilities, insurance, some maintenance costs, the cost of some materials. Let's say they add a company vehicle. We're at around maybe $6,000 for the month. And let's say they overstaff the place, because of course that's what they do. The total annual cost for an operation like that is going to be like maybe $300,000. And yet the government is cutting them a check for $1 million. Am I missing something here, or does the government really have their head shut?
No, this is the new glitch, bro. It's the Somalian Daycare glitch. Y'all got to catch on, bro. Y'all got to get there. Y'all got to go ahead and get in there, bro. you got to catch up. Let's go start some Somalian daycare centers, chat. What are we doing? What are we doing? We got to step it up, bro. I want $1 million. Come on.
Shout out to Nick Shirley. Man, I am so glad you did that. It is going crazy viral all over the internet. All of us who have been calling out the Democrats are appreciating you, because we've been saying this for years. Now, for those of you who know me in real life, you know that I used to work around kids at charter schools. You know that I did the federal accounting. Some people on my channel don't know that. They just think I'm just a guy that drives cars around. I retired from accounting, did federal accounting for the school. So what Nick said is right. Nobody's checking up on that. In Nevada, the state sends people to our schools. They actually send people to our schools during count days, after count days. We go over financials all the time. They see kids, they see teachers, they see staff. They know the federal dollars are going in good hands. The state does that. What happened in Minnesota? It wasn't happening, because all it took was for the state to do like what Nick did, go there. The fact that they didn't go there tells me this wasn't just a small oversight. This was training. The people in Minnesota, the administration, all of these people, they are trained to do fraud. It started at the top. I'm telling you, and it didn't just start with the state. It started at the federal level. Who's ever in charge of the federal level for that state? Ilhan Omar, her boss, Obama. These people all are programmed to know exactly what to do, because you need social security numbers, you need bodies, you need parents, you need addresses, you need contact phone numbers. A registrar will have all of that. So if the registrar of the school has social security numbers and files on all of these kids, then the state should have those same files. If the state doesn't have files on that, then where are these social security numbers coming from in order to get that much money? Remember, I told you in the last video, the head of the Social Security Division, she resigned the moment Trump took office, because they know there's something going on with these social security numbers. There's no way you can get millions and millions of dollars like that without social security numbers. I used to do the federal part of the accounting for the school, so I know exactly how it works.
I just can't believe it's gotten this far, right? It's already gotten so far where these schools are getting millions and millions.
Wire first broke the story detailing allegations of serious Medicaid fraud by Gateway Community Services. And then I publicly called on the Mills administration to launch an immediate investigation. At the time, the reporting raised serious red flags, patterns of overbilling, and questionable practices. In recent weeks, we've seen massive welfare fraud scandal break out in Minnesota, and the fraud here in Maine has disturbing similarities to that in Minnesota. 7 months later, we are finally seeing some action with the suspension of funding to Gateway. But let's be clear, this did not happen because of Democratic leadership or Governor Mills suddenly deciding to act. It happened because the story would not go away. It happened because the national media continued to dig, and it happened because the federal government is now paying attention. Despite taking months for the Maine media to cover this story, we all knew this fraud was real and happening. Finally, after national media shined a light on it, Maine media is playing catch up. Despite all of this, what remains most striking is the complete silence for Maine Democrats. Where is Governor Mills? Where is Speaker Fecto? Where is President Daughtry? Where is the Attorney General? Where is Matt Dunlap? These are not minor questions. These are people who serve Mainers and are responsible for protecting the taxpayer, and their silence is absolutely deafening. Here are the facts. A company whose CEO reportedly spent time traveling to Somalia and running for president there and organizing a privately funded militia, all while his organization was overbilling programs funded by Maine taxpayers. Where is the outrage from Maine Democrats? Where are the press conferences? Where are the calls for accountability? I believe what we have uncovered so far is only scratching the surface of fraud here in Maine. Why was Gateway Community Services, a company that had already received multiple notices of overbilling, allowed to sit on a steering committee to receive funding tied to the Lewiston Shooting Victims Fund? How does a provider under scrutiny for billing abuses end up receiving money that were dedicated to helping families and survivors of one of the most tragic events in Maine history? When you begin to look at how interwoven Gateway is with Maine Democrats, the silence starts to make a whole lot more sense. The Democratic National Committee man for Maine and former Chief of Staff to Senate President Troy Jackson, B.J. McAllister, serves on the board of Community Organizing Alliance, an affiliated group of Gateway. That information was publicly available on their website until just recently that page was magically taken down. Representative Decker DeLocke, who previously worked in a leadership role at Gateway, now sits in the Appropriations Committee, the very committee responsible for overseeing how our tax dollars are spent. These are not coincidences, they are conflicts that demand scrutiny. Frankly, I do not believe we will see a fully transparent investigation carried out by anyone here in state government. Political entanglements are too deep and incentives to look the other way are too strong. Fortunately, this matter has now drawn attention of the U.S. House Oversight Committee. Congressman James Comer has launched a federal investigation and has requested bank records connected to Gateway and related entities. That is a serious step and underscores how serious these allegations are. We are calling on governor's office staff, DHHS staff, state auditor, Democrats in the legislature, and all state agencies to fully cooperate with federal investigators examining fraud here in Maine. That means making documents available. That means answering questions. That means ending any effort to obstruct or delay the truth. Contrary to Attorney General Fry's secret directive to DHHS to avoid cooperating with the Justice Department, the scope of this alleged fraud demands the opposite approach. Maine taxpayers deserve transparency. Earlier when I said I believe Gateway is just scratching the surface, here's what I mean. From 2019 to 2024, Maine had 5,113 different companies billing MaineCare. That's 5,113 different companies, not different claims. But at the same time, we only had 22 employees working on fraud at DHHS. That's not just MaineCare fraud that they work on. That's TANF, SNAP, WIC, all other programs in potential cases of fraud. 22 employees to look at fraud among millions of claims submitted by over 5,000 companies. All told, Maine spent $1.2 million on fraud investigations at DHHS in the year 2024. And to put that in perspective, Gateway Community Services billed $4.1 million during that same time period. This means Maine fraud investigators can spend about 9 hours for every company that is billing MaineCare. That doesn't include the thousands of companies billing SNAP, EBT, or WIC, or other programs, which they have to cover as well. That's just MaineCare. From 2019 to 2024, there were 918 new companies that started billing Medicaid, or roughly 40 for each fraud investigator. Companies are being created faster than they can possibly be validated because we've made it too easy to bill MaineCare. The electronic visit verification system should not allow supervisors and bosses to have root access because this allows Medicaid bills to be created from thin air. In trying to make Medicaid fraud less likely, we've made it easier than posting to Facebook. EVV must be fixed and all EVV claims must be audited. Personal support services must be radically altered as well. We all want grandma to get help around the house or getting groceries, but PSS has become a free-for-all scam that allows bad actors to profit at the expense of hardworking Maine taxpayers. Vulnerable Mainers rely on MaineCare services, deserve honesty, and the people of Maine deserve to know why their government seems so unwilling to talk about this important issue. It's not about politics, it's about accountability, and we up here will not stop asking questions until we get the truth. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Representative Falkenham.
Thank you, Senator. I am Representative Billy Bob Falkenham, the leader of the House Republicans. It's great to see a room so full of media today, which is good because you all are part of one of the things I wanted to address. This is not a new story. This is a story that has just gotten too big to suppress any longer. We've been talking about this for over a year now. The Maine Wire has been reporting on this issue for nearly a year. Last winter, during the budget negotiations and after the audit, we started talking about that audit, and it showed serious deficiencies. And although those deficiencies weren't proof of fraud, it was smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a path leading to that fraud. And the evidence, as it turns out, did already exist. And it didn't come from any of us. It came from the state government and the DHHS. And in a floor speech last April, many, many months ago, I referenced it to the general public and had been referencing it for a long time. Program integrity audits. And I referenced a nonprofit organization that had fraudulently billed 80% of their billing was fraudulent. I believe it was about $3 million they had billed and $2.4 million had been found fraudulent. That was Gateway Community Services. So this wasn't even a mystery to the same government and executive branch that maintained paying them. And I kept asking, what are we going to do about this? And we were being pressured to pass a supplemental budget, which had nearly $120 million in money for a Maine care shortfall. And all we kept saying was, we would like to see some fiscal accountability, fiscal responsibility, and to address this fraud. And what's happening? Are we going to get the money back? Are we going to stop paying? What are we going to do? And we kept bringing this issue to light, but it wouldn't get reported on. And I even had this letter that I wrote to the governor with the questions that we wanted answered. Medicaid analysis, program integrity audits, SNAP and TANF spending analysis on non-citizens, general assistance audit reports, housing assistance audits, general purpose aid. I was running around with this letter back then, last spring, handing it off to people, reporters, anybody, trying to bring this to light. But the response, unfortunately, from you guys was the same one I was getting from upstairs. This letter, I have still not had an answer to this letter. So it turns out that, like I said, that fraud that was happening has existed all along, has just gotten too big to suppress. And this nonprofit, Gateway Community Services, there are 14 individuals being investigated by Congress. And one of those individuals sits on the Appropriations Committee. And we believe that that is a serious conflict, that someone under investigation by Congress with this level of fraud should sit on that committee. So we do not believe that Representative DeLocke should be serving on the Appropriations Committee. We'll be sending out a letter to the Speaker asking him to remove her from that committee. She can go on another committee. We're not saying that she can't be on any committees. We believe in fairness here in the legislature. The majority party has no problem removing Republicans from committees, as they've done many times since I've been in the legislature. I can think of 3 very recent ones off the top of my head. Has no problem at all with that. So with this level of fraud that has come from Gateway, which not only was Representative DeLocke an employee, she was a very high-level employee at an organization that committed fraud to the tune of 80% of their billing levels, found through program integrity audits that I've seen leaked. Now, I would like to get my hands on some of those that aren't leaked. I would like to have my letter responded to, and I'd like to see all the program integrity audits from DHHS. But that letter will be going out later today, and we want answers. And as we're going into another supplemental budget, we want this fraud addressed, and we want some fiscal responsibility, and we want this stuff cleaned up before we go into those budget talks.
Good afternoon. I'm Representative Katrina Smith. I'm the Assistant Leader of the House Republicans and the representative for District 62. I'm here to tell you today that my constituents and the constituents of my caucus members have had enough. The tax-paying citizens of Maine have had enough of fraud, waste, and lies. The people of Maine understand that we have a fiscal responsibility to keep our roads fit for travel, to care for those who need our help. And we don't mind that that money comes out of our paychecks for those endeavors. What we do mind coming out of our paychecks is money being sent to people in non-governmental organizations that are defrauding us. They're defrauding us because they are not providing the services that they claim to provide. They are defrauding us because they are personally gaining wealth from our tax dollars without doing the work they claim to do. We know that Gateway Community Services was found to have over $800,000 in fraudulent billing. We know that the money from the Lewiston tragedy didn't go to families of survivors. And now, just like Minnesota and Ohio, whose fraud is numbering in the billions of dollars at this time, this $800,000 can only be the tip of the iceberg of what's really happening here in Maine. Our constituents are struggling to pay their electric bills. They wonder if they can even think of going on a family vacation this year. And look, now they have a new tax on streaming services, on simple paint for their house. Their budgets are pressed and they can't take any more. And they especially can't take money being continually wasted. It's time for a full-throated, hold back nothing investigation into these organizations and for all involved. The people of Maine are demanding accountability for the money that they send to Augusta every single day, and we are here to stand up for them. Thank you, and Senator Stewart will speak.
So I'll round it out here, and then we'll open it up for some questions. But the last couple of things I want to say, two F's come to mind. The first being fraud by design. This wasn't an accident. This didn't just happen. It's a system that's designed by the left for people in their social circles. It starts all the way at the top of the federal government with the Obama administration, promulgated even more by the Biden administration. It runs down to the states, to governors across the country, including Governors Walz and Governor Mills. And even at the local level, you see the bad actors. You read the headlines, you see what's happening right here in Maine, certainly in Minnesota, and I would agree with what's been said so far that this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. The other F is financial Armageddon. That's what we're heading for. If you don't think that the Trump administration is serious about getting a handle on this, you're probably on another planet. This is going to have implications for the state of Maine in the billions with a B of dollars. This will spell financial Armageddon for our state.
I had a crazy idea. We were surprised that no one had done it before.
Success doesn't follow a formula, and neither do you.
Suspension of Maine care payments. State auditors say in this document that there is a credible allegation of fraud that they're investigating regarding Gateway Community Services.
In the House oversight demands for certain banking reports, they list as persons of interest the company's founder and CEO, Abdullahi Ali, the Somali American who, while at the time serving as executive director for Gateway, last year ran for president, which is essentially governor of Jubaland.
I am prepared to face the concern and the challenges, and I will put everything on the table, including assassination.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, this is a follow-up to a previous report that we did on the state of Maine. There is a scandal brewing in Maine that kind of parallels that brewing in Minnesota, but the one in Maine has quite the different complexion because the man at the center of this scandal apparently ran for a foreign government, y'all, being a United States citizen. While he currently is a United States citizen, and while he currently has government contracts in the state of Maine, he actually ran for a governmental position in.
This really blows my mind for other people in Maine. Did anyone consent to financing or funding a Somalian warlord running for president of Jombaland? Did you know about that? Did they inform you where your tax dollars were going? No? Amazing. You wonder why everything's getting so expensive here in Maine. Well, the governor of Maine decided to fund a Somalian warlord running for president of Jombaland. Amazing shit.
In Somalia. He even did a TV interview about it, y'all. So this is not like conjecture or this is not rumor. I mean, he went right on Maine. I think it was Maine TV and just talked about it outright. Now, this is not illegal in my investigation. It's not illegal for him to do. And so I guess if you're a United States citizen, you can also serve as a governmental official for another country, okay? But people are saying that he was taking money from Maine from this Gateway Community Services, which is a medical provider, I believe. People say he was taking this money and funding a militia in Somalia that he needed in order to give him credibility to run for the government there. Now, I can't verify that part of it, y'all. There's going to be certain parts of today's video where people are talking, you know, and so you have to take some of this with a grain of salt, but it is painting a picture. And so now Gateway Community Services is under fire. It appears that they have had numerous warnings from the state. Payments have stopped to them. It's just a big old mess. Just in time for your girl, Janet Mills, the governoress, to run for senator. It looks like she might have a path, y'all. She has a path right now to at least the Democratic nomination. But just like Tim Walz in Minnesota, all this controversy might be enough to derail those hopes, y'all. So let's go ahead and hop into it without further ado. Let's go ahead and do it. But before we do, y'all, our Christmas sale is now over, but you can take advantage.
Community Services. Just late this afternoon, the State Department of Health and Human Services issued two big documents that tell us some important things. One is this: it's a suspension of Maine care payments. State auditors say in this document that there is a credible allegation of fraud that they're investigating regarding Gateway Community Services. They also released the results of a third audit. We told you about two audits that took place many years ago that the state told us about earlier this month. Well, they just released the results of a third audit that took place between 2021 and the end of 2022. They found in that audit that Gateway overbilled Maine Care by more than $1 million. And a spokesperson for DHHS told us during those prior audits that we were asking about that anytime that they have to recoup more than $100,000, that it's considered significant. So this $1 million is certainly a big deal. Auditors wrote in the report to Gateway Community Services that these are not only widespread, but repeated errors. And they say, we've educated you on this before, we've penalized you on this before, and now Gateway has 60 days to appeal this latest finding by the state. Now, this also lines up with some data that we had requested from the Department of Health and Human Services about how much money did Gateway get in Maine Care dollars from 2019 to 2024. They gave us those numbers. They say it was about $4 to $5 million a year, a total of $28 million. We reached out to the lawyer for Gateway and said, what's the deal with this? He said those gross revenue figures don't really account for the full cost for Gateway delivering its services. They have multiple locations, more than 100 employees, most of whom are not new Americans. He said that Gateway incurs significant fixed operating costs to provide these services and that their net revenue is substantially lower. So then we reached out to the lawyer again to ask him about this latest finding. He said Gateway received that notice. Right now, the reimbursements are paused. Gateway has very little information of what this is based upon besides that notice. They said they're going to take time to review it and respond to the allegations. They say they stand by their previous statements.
Style and substance.
So let's find out who is this person who heads up Gateway, y'all. His name is Abdullahi Ali. Take a look at this brief little clip, and then we'll get into the proof. He actually did an interview about his running for a governmental office in Somalia.
And important to note, in the House oversight demands for certain banking reports, they list as persons of interest the company's founder and CEO, Abdullahi Ali, the Somali American who, while at the time serving as executive director for Gateway, last year ran for president, which is essentially governor of Jubaland, a state in Somalia's south of borders Kenya. Also listed, former assistant executive director and current U.S. state representative for Maine, Deka Dalak.
So we had reported on this previously that he had run for, I called him, he ran for warlord in Somalia. And that's because the reports say that he had to show them that he could get a militia together. And in case you don't know what a militia is, it's like kind of a small army. And so people have been saying that he's taking money out of Maine and sending it over there to fund the army. That part, of course, he did not comment on in this interview, but he absolutely did say he was running for what I say warlord in Somalia, y'all. This is wild. Check this out.
One of your main stated goals in your campaign platform is driving out the extremist group Al-Shabaab. How dangerous of a task is that? And are you concerned about your own safety?
Of course, I'm, concerned of what that would look like, but I am prepared to face the concern and the challenges, and I don't leave. I will put everything on the table, including assassination attacks against myself and others.
How has your experience in leadership roles in Maine influenced your feeling that you're fit to lead in your home country?
I have spent about 15 years in Maine. Most of that for the last 10 years, I have been running organizations in Maine. And in the last 4 years, I have also led an organization that is based in Maine, but has offices in Kenya and provides services in East Africa.
And I'm just going to loop this in, y'all. This is totally unsubstantiated. I'm not even going to play the audio from this. If you want to see what this person said, I believe is on. If you want to see what this person said, you can check out Mila Joy on X. He's making allegations that Abdullahi, let's just say, was trying to silence a journalist who's reporting on all of this supposed fraud at Gateway. Again, there's no way for me to know. I didn't find any independent reporting on that. I don't know where this comes from, but I'm including it in this video just in case in the future something does come out, I can flash back to it. So over the weekend, the Nick Shirley videos from Minnesota blew up. We covered a couple of those. I definitely recommend you check them out on X. They might be on YouTube as well. Tremendous reporting done by a young man who has been going to different hot spots around the country, and I believe even internationally, and bringing people to see with their own eyes, of course, through his videos, exactly what's going on. And now it looks like Maine and even Ohio might be other hot spots that are going to be on the radar going forward. We have somebody who is receiving money from the United States legitimately, apparently, and maybe even illegitimately, if you believe the reports. And some of that money might be going overseas for a militia. Again, I haven't seen any substantiated reports on that, but he did get the money from somewhere if he was funding the militia, right? So, y'all, what do you think about all this? I mean, should there be any prohibition on Americans holding governmental offices in foreign countries?
That's amazing, right? This guy comes to Maine to get education. 15 years. We paid to bring him here. Then he takes that education and experience back overseas, along with your tax dollars, so he can run for president of Jombaland. Explain how that was a good investment. Can we get a refund? We want our money back. Boo! I said America was suffering from money management issues because the Democrats run a mafia-style party. I'm trying to figure out who the Godfather is or the Bad Dawn Rising. Abaddon? The Devil? Cheeto Jesus? Orange Man? Bad. See you again here, Andrew. It's amazing, right? Mainers are financing a Somalian warlord through Maincare. It's amazing. Hallelujah. Holy shit. No wonder why it's getting so expensive here. Got to raise funds for Somalian warlords militia. And no one sees anything wrong with this at all. None. Zero, right? Especially Democrats. Oh, no, they got to stick to their party line. You guys doing cocaine lines with Janet Mills in the bathroom? What's going on with those? This is why I have zero faith in leadership, okay? It's a sick game and I don't want to play, mommy, daddy, okay? By the way, bringing in those Somalians only dumbed down our nation. The average IQ of a Somalian is 68. Huh? The average IQ of people here in the United States is somewhere around 90. So you do the math. I'm pretty sure Democrats are hell-bent on destroying this country, and Republicans are just given the illusion that they give a fuck. Completely compromised. You Republicans want to come out of the closet yet? You closet gays? Pretending to be heterosexuals? Holy shit, right? So, the problems in Minnesota are no different than the problems in Ohio or Maine. And it's weird how it's all Democratic states, right? Democratic governors. And you love your illegal immigrants. That's so you can start NGOs and wealth extract money from this country and send it overseas. Gateway Community Services, that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. What about USAID? USAID? Same thing. Same exact fucking thing. I wonder how grandma and grandpa are going to feel when they find out that Governor Mills been sending their tax dollars overseas to finance a Somalian warlord. Is that treason? Same question for the governor of Ohio or Minnesota. Frauding the people that you represent out of billions of dollars. The only thing you can do is hang your head in shame like a fucking dog you've been caught. Same with Governor Mills. Our office has gone silent for months. Surely she had a hand in all this shit. The Bangor Daily doesn't have a response or a comment either. The only thing that shit rag's capable of doing is carrying water for the governor's office. What? I'm pretty sure you walk behind the governor, Bangor Daily, with a fucking newspaper to scoop up Jan Mills' poop. You're her pooper scooper. Fucking amazing. Communist shit rag. Now go back to sleep, dog. This shit's hysterical. And you won't hear any of it in the Bangor Daily either. No, they cover for the governor. Carry water. Pick up her poop. The Bangor Daily, the Boston Globe, the New York Times, USA Today, Seattle Times, every mainstream media outlet just carries water for the governor. And mostly they're liberal communist shit rags. I couldn't help but notice how much tax dollars they all get. It's amazing. If you're getting tax dollars to maintain your fucking business, you are a fucking welfare hooker. Mainstream media. How are you not any fucking different than a welfare recipient? If you're just going to repeat after the people to the left or right of you, what's the point in going to school? Oh, I know. It's so that you can sound like the people to the left and right of you. That's why you all sound the fucking same right now. It's amazing. Must be something to do with that indoctrination. That public education wasn't really all that it was cracked up to be, right? Public education turns out to be indoctrination, which is no different than mental manipulation. No wonder why the country's suffering mass psychosis. The television did it. Gen Zs and millennials, their heads are empty. They think MTV is fucking culture information. And this was for educational purposes or entertainment purposes only. I'll let you decide. This is either educational or it was entertaining. What if it was both? What if it was both? Right? I said that the state of Maine was ran by angry white females, 3 of them, 2 black females, minority group, 3-2, and 1 beta male. Holy fuck. Where's the men at? Shit's wild. There it was yesterday, a picture of 5 people, 3 angry white females, 2 black females from other countries in office. How'd that happen? I don't know. And 1 gay man. And shout out to the angry white females in the room. You know, angry white females love fucking black men, right? Because you hate yourselves and your own race. Why don't you just come clean about it? Save me a lot of aggravation. Democrats sold this country out before I was even fucking born or thought of, before I was even a fucking seed in my daddy's nutsack king. Hey, look, Governor Mills, I'm pretty sure you tanked this country. Meaning Maine. Now you want to do it to the rest of the country. It's amazing, right? Remember, 50 states, 50 countries in a union. That's why states have their own constitution. Because technically, they're their own fucking countries. Which, you know, there's a lot of things I'm concerned with. The list is never ending. It's huge. Social Security reimbursements for trafficking children or transportation of children. That sounds dirty. I got to ask, why are they reimbursing the schools through Social Security to pay for busing of the children? Is that how they hide the incentives to snatch and grab children? And whose Social Security are they stealing from? The children. Right? They're draining the Social Security accounts of the children that they just fucking stole. Wow. And you can figure that out under Social Security Title IV in regards to transportation of children. I have no idea why it's buried in there. But when you're trafficking goods, you're kind of like a dealer or supplier or purveyor of goods. Provider, like Jeffrey Epstein was a purveyor and provider of children for pedophiles to fuck. And sitting silent don't impress me much. Me and my education. Me and my fucking thumbs. Thumb, thumb, thumb. The only thing the two parties are good at is fucking the children out of their future. Mommy, Daddy, did I confuse you with my vocabulary? 80% of you are illiterate according to Donald Trump. Orange man, bad. Right? Bad. Cheeto Jesus, bad. Haven't you noticed yet that Trump does the exact opposite of what Trump promises you? Because hey, I figured it out. The amazing thing about leadership is there's no accountability in it. Presidents have been reduced to actors and are maturing candidates for the military-industrial complex controlled by China. You know what Walmart is? It's a wealth extraction tool. We don't produce anything that's being sold in those stores. It's all coming from overseas. China was pretty smart. You know, lease buildings and pay you to sell their shit. So they can take your money. Because your money's worth way more than theirs. Whoa. And then it gets funnier because over time, China was like, holy shit, we can lease the buildings and then send the immigrants there to employ them. It'll be our people running these stores overseas. And our people overseas will be selling our goods. Wealth extraction. How to suck a country dry. How to strip it of its natural resources and rare earth elements. It's elemental, Watson. It's elementary. They're after your elementals. You know, quartz crystal, lithium, neodymium, palladium, magnetic materials. Because that's what you use to make your lithium batteries and your computer components. And the only corporations that value silver and gold today are radio manufacturers, stereos, televisions, electronics, computers, car components. I mean, no one's trading in gold. So I don't know why people are harvesting or hoarding gold. No idea. You can't eat it. You can't build a house out of it. The only people that want it are corporations using it to make stuff. You like your cheap stuff, don't you? You know what the Clintons did to America? It's amazing. The Clintons got Americans to compete with Chinese. So you could wind up on their knees the fastest, apparently. Thanks for opening up China into the free trade agreement, right? That's what happened. You brought slave labor here, and that reduced the value of the people here, right? And the more you bring in immigrants, you cause the people here to compete for less and less and less, and the cost of living goes up and up and up and up. And I don't know how this is good for fucking anyone. Sitting silent don't change nothing. Free people, brave ones. Holy shit. I don't understand why you good people aren't fucking furious. That's what baffles my mind. Why aren't you angry? Holy shit.